You see that detail? You see that? Hold up. Look at this. See what that is? That is a watermelon. Holy shit. That is a watermelon slice. See that? Now, why would I be eating something like this when obviously it's a rest day? Is that what you're asking? Apply for coaching. How's it going, my beautiful people? How are we doing? Hope you guys are all having a fantastic start of your day, or end of your day, or end of tomorrow if you're from the future, like Australia or some bullshit. Shout out to Jay, the homie. Love that guy. Okay. So, I'm an idiot, and yesterday I forgot to put this bullshit in my bag. So unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, nothing really happened, but I wasn't able to, or I was stressing because I thought my camera was going to die. So a couple things here. Why am I eating candy at 11:45? Because it's refeed day, boys and girl. It's refeed day. No, I'm just playing. But guess what? Literally, I've been eating. I know I said I was going to have 3,000 calories, but I wasn't really too hungry last night, so I ate 2,800. I am eating 2,800 calories, walking 20,000 steps, and I woke up 175.4. That's a 2-pound drop from yesterday. So it's now getting to the point where it's a little bit too aggressive for my liking. So immediately today is going to be, I mean, ideally I should just jump to like 3,500 and slow it down, but we'll see how I feel. I'm not trying to get like diced or anything like that, but at the same time, once you have data, however you want to say it, wherever you're from, you kind of know like these kind of body weight ranges and how lean you've been at these body weight ranges before, how much weight you have to lose to get to this particular body fat percentage, because realistically, like you're not gonna, as long as your performance is staying relatively in the same range, you're not gonna be losing muscle. So you kind of just can tell. And from this point on, it doesn't make sense to lose like, I'm losing more than 1% per week, just because obviously it's only been what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's been 10 days from 183 to 175.4. But to be fair, the 183 was incredibly inflated with like water, glycogen, waste, etc. from eating a bunch of slop while I was in Houston. So pretty much the average is going to be the better difference, and 180.5, we can call it 180.3 to 176.3. So that's pretty much 4 pounds down on my average weight in 10 days, which is pretty significant. And I am feeling this is just sitting down, right? So we're feeling a little bit lean, but as you can see, like there's still a good chunk of lower back fat here. The serratus and the obliques are coming in pretty nicely. The chest is still kind of fat. My lower back is coming in, but it's still there's still a good chunk of fat. So it's like once you get to kind of this range, I would probably say that I'm in like that 13-14% body fat range, probably closer to 13 now. You got to slow things down because the goal is fat loss. It's not weight loss, right? And once you start just chasing weight loss, once you are getting in those lower body fat percentage ranges, you definitely will start to notice those negative effects, like for example, lower energy availability, which could increase, again, how irritable you feel. So I could start to feel myself getting a little bit, cranky. And then obviously just lower energy overall. You just feel like you're dragging your feet, and you don't want that, right? So the smart thing to do is like freshen up a little bit, take probably like a couple higher days of calories, pushing it closer to 3,500, but we'll see. I'm feeling good. Sleep is still, decent. So nothing too much to report there. But yeah, how are you guys doing? Yesterday's games were crazy. 2 penalty shootouts. Paraguay beat Germany. How insane is that? The Netherlands-Morocco game was insane too in penalty shootouts. So Canada versus Morocco, I think next Saturday, I believe. Not this upcoming Saturday, or maybe it is this upcoming Saturday. I'm not too sure. But I'm super, super stoked for that game Today's games are pretty interesting too. We got Norway versus Cote d'Ivoire, and then we have, let me see. France versus Sweden is going to be good. A lot of people in my pool have France to win it, and so obviously, who do I think is going to win that game? I think that France is going to win, but I kind of want Sweden to win because that'll wipe the floor of a lot of the pool that's in front of me. I think I'm in 12th place right now. And then we have Mexico, Ecuador, which I believe that Mexico is going to win. And then tomorrow we got big games. We got US versus Bosnia, England versus DR Congo, Belgium versus Senegal. So some interesting games. I'm stuck here with my buddy Roscoe. I don't know if you can see him. He's on the ground. Yo, Roscoe. Hey. He's sleeping right now. He doesn't want to talk to you guys, but maybe I can get him interested in a bit. So I just had Pranav. I don't know if he doesn't watch my videos because he only watches, like, if I was wearing Gasp and I had a physical logbook, he probably would watch these videos, but he put me on brown sugar substitute, which I've had. I literally had I bought like this Swerve stuff, which is like one of these brands, and I had it at my house. I just never tapped into it, but wow, it is really good. So if you want a little bit of an extra sweetness, little touch up on like oatmeal or cream of rice, give it a shot. Again, shout out Pranav, my guy. But yeah, first meal was oatmeal, protein, and an apple. Then I had a little protein bar as a snack. Obviously, in the morning, I had all of my supplements, right, which is omega-3 fish oil, vitamin D3 plus K2. I have a multivitamin. I have vitamin C, and then I have my electrolytes. And I have a little bit of some type of nut butter in that first meal just to aid in absorption of my fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, D, E, and K. I like to utilize multivitamins, especially when my calories are lower, just to give myself a little bit of a safety net, just in case I, am lower on my vitamin E or lower on whatever. Even when I'm eating, like 2,800 calories is not too little of food. Like that's a good chunk of food. So if you disperse that appropriately, you can go a far way with that, right? So for me, when it comes to dieting, it's a lot less hunger, because I can deal with hunger extremely well. I've been doing this for a very long time. So that's why when I made the post talking about passive dieting, I still believe that that is a very solid thing to do, especially if it's like you're more of a beginner to intermediate in terms of dieting. Like, have you ever gotten shredded? Have you ever stayed lean? How long did it take you to get lean? Like, all these things matter. So don't try to run before you can walk, but eventually when you do become an advanced dieter, like myself, like I'm 29, that's kind of crazy to say, but I've dieted so many times. I've dieted probably like 30 times in my life. Something like that, something ridiculous. And that could be just like little mini cuts of 4 to 6 weeks. That could be like moderate cuts of like 3 to 6 months, etc. So maybe not 30 times, it sounds ridiculous, but I don't know, a lot of times. So I know how to deal with the negative kind of implications that come with dieting. And when you understand on how to deal with those things, I do believe that aggressive is the move. But there's always going to be a give or take, right? Because what the hell is that? Holland's face. Yeah, because the more aggressive you go, the higher likelihood that you're not going to be able to gain as much muscle whilst dieting. You're going to be at a higher risk of losing muscle. So although that muscle memory is a fascinating thing, so you're going to be able to gain that lost muscle back, it still does take time. A lot of people like to kind of overemphasize how quick it does come back. It still takes time. It's speculated that's about half the time that it took to get it in the first place. So if you think about that, that is still quite a long time. So ideally, you don't want to be in too low of that energy availability state. And so going back to what I said is, I have an easy time dealing with the hunger. And for me, it's a lot harder to deal with like the irritability, the lower energy, the feeling like you're dragging your feet, etc., because of the fact that I run a business and I do social media. Like yesterday, I didn't post an Instagram video, which I'm kind of upset about. I like to post at least one IG video, one TikTok video a day. I've been slacking with it, to be honest. Like, my growth on social media has slowed down considerably. And it's because it's tough, because I do these videos on YouTube every single day. And that takes up a lot of my time. I don't have too much time to be able to kind of just waste. Not to say that this is a waste at all, because obviously you guys mean a lot and you guys support me. So I like to put up these videos because I see how much you enjoy them. But by the way, let's take a little break here. I'm gonna stop for like 30 seconds. I never do this, but let's support your boy, right? Are you subscribed? Leave a like, leave a comment. What have I helped you with, right? What are you looking forward to see? Okay, just drop a comment, leave a like, support your boy, so I could continue to have the motivation to post these videos. Because I know a lot of you guys, and honestly, that's awesome. Like, the fact that you hop on the walking pad, I got you guys on the walking pad, on the treadmill, and you do your steps. We're all TDE maxing, all these things. Like, that's the fact that I could leave a positive influence like on your life like that is amazing, because I'm telling you, just you being able to eat more food whilst still losing body fat, because you're able to eat more food, you have more fluidity, more balance. You can go out with your family, your friends, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever, go out for a meal and not feel too stressed. So I live for that. I love to be able to help you guys not only like achieve the best possible results that you're going to achieve in the gym, but also live your life, right? Now, I'm not gonna make this video about the whole like, oh, you know, like, you're a casual, you need to live your life. I understand it can get a little bit tiresome. You guys want to you're like, shut the fuck up. Let me just like, tell me about the 4 to 6 rep range. Tell me to leave reps in the tank. Tell me to do single limb, single joint movements to maximize motor unit recruitment. Tell me all these nerdy little things. So that's what we will continue to do. But yeah, diet's going good. Oh my God. What a save. I want to show you guys this, but I don't know if I can, because I'd get cooked on YouTube. Holy, what a free kick. Top left. Absolutely incredible. So, no one has really left a comment about the whole like movie night that I wanted to do. I don't know if you guys are into that, or maybe it's like the thing that I'm kind of not worried about per se, but like it's going to be challenging is balancing the time zones, because obviously I have people all around the world that watch my stuff. So to be able to like balance out the time zones is going to be extremely challenging. But the first movie that I want to watch with you guys is Obsession, because I've been talking about Obsession forever, and now I watched it in theaters, and it was one of the best horror movies I've ever watched. And to be honest, a lot of horror movies get shitty reviews because it's just hard to make a good horror movie these days. But this movie is like, it goes above and beyond just a horror movie. Like, it's actually a very, very good movie. The plot is amazing, and I really want to see it again. The acting is great. And so apparently the director's cut, or the unrated cut, is now out on Apple TV. So I'm actually live right now with you guys, going to check to see if I have the copy. I'm gonna click play. And it's not out yet. So unfortunately, we're still gonna have to wait. I believe that it comes out on Apple TV, and then like after a couple hours or maybe another day, it'll finally come out on my streaming site. And I use FMHY, which is Free Media Heck Yeah. That's what it stands for. So I highly recommend tapping in if you guys want to know oh my God. If you guys want to know a site that is really good for streaming anything, if you guys like anime, if you guys like torrents, I don't know if I'm gonna be cooked on YouTube for sharing this. Hopefully I'm not. So Norway just won. Easy. But yeah, they got music, they got streaming, they got ebooks, they got games, they got everything. So fmhy.net. Highly recommend tapping in. I think I made a video about this earlier. So yeah, tap in. Yesterday's training session, we'll just go over that a little bit. I was kind of a little bit upset in the sense that I was messing around too much. with exercise selection and jumping all over the place. And obviously when you are on lower calories than what I'm used to eating 4,000 calories, having an intra-workout of like 100 grams of carbs. You just have a lot more energy to withstand those longer sessions. But another thing that you have to take into account is that this is where that lower rep range is very, very valuable. Training with 4 reps, training with 5 reps, and limiting your rep range to that very, very low rep range is extremely important for withstanding the duration of the session and still being able to give the most output in every single exercise, right? So again, if you are dieting, I mean, even if you're not dieting, if you're trying to maximize the amount of volume that you're going to be able to do in a full body session, then training in that lower rep range, that 4 to 5 to 6 rep range, is going to be extremely crucial to be able to kind of min-max and handle as much volume as you possibly can whilst still being able to recover session to session and intra-session. When a lot of people talk about intra-session fatigue when it comes to full body, it stems from this lack of kind of programming knowledge, understanding not only how to mitigate post-workout fatigue, basically rep range, proximity to failure, tempo of your exercises, all of those things, resistance profile, all of those things are going to be kind of variables that you can tinker with and you can adjust to mitigate how much calcium ion accumulation you're going to accumulate throughout your session, which is going to lead to greater post-workout fatigue mechanisms, which is going to hinder your ability to, again, recover. But obviously, the whole recovery kind of aspect is misconstrued because people believe that if they're not capable of adding an additional rep every single 48 hours, that means that they're under-recovered. And that's just not the case. What I mean by under-recovered is that you are consistently not able to match prior performance. Recovery by definition is the ability to perform back at baseline performance. So if you hit 100 pounds for 5 reps, and then with everything else standardized, the same exercise, the same order, etc., you go to the next training session and you hit 100 pounds for 5 reps, you are by definition recovered. So that is not necessarily fatigue is the temporary reduction in exercise performance caused by a prior bout of exercise. So if you are consistently, remember that short-term performance deviations are completely normal because motivation comes and goes. You could have a poor sleep. You could have more cognitive load. You could be, studying or getting in an argument prior to the gym, and that could truly influence your training session. So that's why you can't judge your recovery based off just one session. It has to be the accumulation of multiple sessions, multiple weeks, really to truly know if you are recovering from that volume. And then obviously, depending on your level of advancement, that's going to dictate how frequently you're going to be able to progress. But again, if you guys have listened to me for any period of time, you'll know that is my greatest pet peeve is when someone asks how fast do you progress or how fast should I progress? It drives me nuts, that question. I seriously can't stand it. But anyway, I think what we'll do is I'm going to get a coffee. And to be honest, I'm already at, I'm already at almost 12K steps and it's just noon. So I'm going to chill out on the steps. Obviously, I'm going for 20K per day. That's just a standard by me. I really like getting 10K before noon because then I can just break it up and do 5K here and then 2.5K and then maybe the rest of the steps I just get through my day-to-day activity. So I'll just get a coffee and then we're going to crush some Q&A. And yeah, tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a little bit more cautious of, for example, my reps. I'm going to keep my reps a little bit lower just because, especially for the duration of this kind of dieting period, I don't want to push my reps much above 6. And so the combination of me not pushing my reps above 6, as well as hopefully, I know I say this all the time, hopefully leaving 1 rep in the tank and not changing my session and playing around with things, I can get my session duration closer to that 2 hours, 2.5 hours tops, which not only gives me more time to work and get my steps in, but it allows me to get through the end of my session and have those sets near the end of my session be a lot more stimulative. Because if you're dragging your sessions out, not because of the split, but because of poor decision making during the session, then that is a skill issue. And that is mainly the reason why people will say like, oh, I can't recover from full body, or I have such a hard time training full body because the sessions take too long. That is a skill issue. That is poor programming and a poor decision-making process when it comes to the factors that influence post-workout fatigue that also influence intra-session fatigue. So obviously intra-session fatigue is going to kind of have that correlation with post-workout fatigue. So things like reps in reserve are really good for mitigating intra-session fatigue. Things like utilizing lower rep ranges, like the 4 to 6 rep range. Obviously, intra-workout. Another thing is potentially raising intra-workout. A lot of people think that, oh, while I'm dieting, I want to save calories for later on in the day, which does make sense. Depends on like your hunger and your satiety. But if you are someone that is full set on doing this massive maximalist exercise selection, then you must do these things to keep motivation and performance as high as possible throughout the whole duration of your session. Otherwise, it's just like, what's the point? Because if you start to drop exercises because you were too tired and you can't maintain it, then sure, you could go to like a full body A-B split. But again, if you are set on dieting, and more specifically dieting more aggressively, you're not going to have the energy to be able to do these long sessions. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. That's why, again, when people ask me a million times, like, can I add this? Can I add that? Can I do this? Can I do that? The answer to that is almost always no. Like, that's why when you see me do a bilateral set into a unilateral set, I literally say, don't do this. When I do my unilateral supinated curl, I say, don't do this. So remember that more is not always more. Sometimes less is more. And a lot of you guys need to understand that. But anyway, coffee, and we'll start yapping, all right?
He's the bane of my existence. He makes every day hell for me. Because all I'm getting are these tongue-chunks of horror memes. I'm genuinely baffled. I don't know what to do anymore. So, I'm sorry to like bring this on you, Keenan. I'm not trying to cancel you or anything, but I don't know. I just feel like I have to speak out about it. Follow for more. It's about damn time I spoke up about this.
You already know we're tapped into brain rot. I remember I got a comment saying like, you're so busy, how do you have time to like doom scroll and and how are you so tapped into brain rot? Listen, I am the king multitasker. I am the king multitasker. And I'm not saying that proudly, because I could literally be doing like 10 different things at once and do decently well at all those different things. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys in a second. All right, we are back, baby. How are you guys doing? I got my coffee. What is this? Starbucks caramel, I think. Oh, delicious. We're gonna go blue. I haven't done blue in a while. Yellow, green, blue. Purple's like my go-to. Purple looks the best, I think. We're gonna stick with blue just to change it up a little bit. All right. Also, I finally got an email back from my lawyers about the move. Or I guess just about the visa. I don't even know what I'm gonna do, to be honest. I haven't decided anything. I just wanted to have the option if necessary. So yeah, anyway. I gotta make a move on that, so I gotta do something there. But anyway, let's carry on. So, Kanal Rai, appreciate you being one of the top commenters. Received one of the highest numbers of hearts from you. W, man, W. When adding a pad to leg extension for extra ROM, do you lower weight by how much to get into this new extra range? This is why we have in Tract a reset exercise, because now you're changing the variables. You are increasing range of motion. Therefore, remember that progressive overload has to take into account all past conditions, prior conditions being your range of motion, right? The technique of the exercise, which is part of technique, which is going to be the range of motion. So you just reset it. You reset it and you set a new personal best. Aim for a weight that is going to take you to 0 to 1 reps in the tank at 5 or whatever rep range your program asks for. Ideally 4 to 6, 5 to 7, 5 to 8, 5 to 10. I can't program for you for free. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about you, but again, as close to 5 as possible, as long as you're able to adhere to good quality technique so that you're going to be able to have sufficient stimulus on the specific fibers that you're aiming for. So that's really the only way to answer this question. When you add a pad to the leg extension for extra ROM, say you did 200 pounds for 5 reps and they were picture perfect, and then now you added this pad for additional ROM, don't expect to get 200 pounds for 5 reps again. What I would do is I'd completely reset your logbook, reset exercise on track, set a new personal best, and then go from there. All right, this is absolutely driving me nuts, this construction outside, man. Oh, it's so annoying. Anyway, hello, Big K, yo, CRZ lifts, how's it going? Do glutes get worked in an SLDL rack pull? I can't do this. Can you guys even hear this? Like, these absolute clowns have been doing this construction for, I want to say, years. And it's always like, oh yeah, the construction will be finished by like 2024. It's like 2026. It's going to be like 2028 by the time it's done. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I know they're just doing their job, but I mean, so am I, right? So am I. Oh God, it's so annoying. Anyway, glutes get worked in an SLDL rack pull because the glute's main role, the lower glute max, is to extend the hip. And because you are challenging hip extension, there's obviously going to be a component of glutes involved in that. Now, it's not going to bias the glutes because that's not where it's heaviest, right? So you have to take into consideration that certain muscles perform certain joint actions, but certain muscles are going to be better trained when that joint action is being challenged in particular ranges of motion, most challenged. So an SLDL rack pull, assuming that you're stopping in that mid-range, is going to indicate that the greatest challenge is going to occur in that mid-range, which means that it's going to be more hamstring biased, especially if you keep a straighter leg. So you have kind of 2 different ways to train the glute max. You can train it in the lengthened range for more stretch mediated growth. That's going to be best trained whenever you're doing like unilateral lunge or squat variations or leg press variations, or even just regular squat or leg press variations. As well as shortened position movements like kickbacks and thrusts. So yes, they do get worked in. If you're asking this because of overlap from, for example, a 2-way split like anterior posterior or push-pull, then yes, there's going to be overlap. You can't really get around that. It's just the downside of the split. Every split has downsides. It's just the one that has the least amount of downsides and will always be the most optimal. It's full body every day, baby. Let's go. What are we doing? And cope if you don't think otherwise, or if you think otherwise. Also, like, does anyone have a dog? Like, why do they do this? He's waiting for a belly rub, I know. Like, you're not dead, buddy. I literally just saw you move. Hey. Wait, sorry, that's, you can see something that you're not supposed to see. Hey. I know you want belly rubs. Hello, hello, hello. Like, what are you doing, bro? Whoa! All right, moving on. Is this 1 set per exercise? Apply for coaching, because whenever I get answers like that, you are just looking to copy my programming. So apply for coaching if you would like me to help you with your programming. Hey Keenan, didn't have the best sleep last night, got like 2 hours, would like to know any side effects from the poor sleep on recovery, mood, hunger, gym performance, etc. I'm not really too sure what you mean by side effects. Like with short-term sleep deprivation, it's not going to be the worst thing. I feel like I've repeated myself a million times with this one, but you are going to have some transient increase in motor unit recruitment, just potentially due to adrenaline and other things like that. But again, this is acute sleep deprivation. The reason why I'm looking at the screen is because I'm watching in RuneScape, the game that I play, a new quest just came out called Blood Moon Rises, and I watch Bodhi all the time, and Bodhi's like killing the new boss, and I'm just like infatuated. I just can't stop watching. So anyway, back to the question. Thank goodness I have a rest day today, full body's peak. God bless. I know doing these videos may seem like a chore for you at times, but we all really appreciate them and you for everything you do. Thank you, bro. Honestly, that means a lot. It really does. So a couple things that I'll say about sleep is poor sleep, especially when you are in a state of caloric restriction, so you're dieting, is going to increase muscle protein breakdown, and it's going to increase the rate of atrophy, mainly because of the glucocorticoid response from stress response from the impact in your sleep quality. So there's going to be like sleep restriction and deprivation, and then there's obviously going to be like acute and long-term effects. If it's just one night across the week, it's not going to kill you, but 2 hours of sleep is very low. Now, me personally, if I was like you, I would still train. I would just utilize caffeine, and then I would go to sleep early that evening, just to catch up on sleep. But especially when dieting, remember that sleep is going to be your #1 appetite suppressant. A lot of the people these days that are on every peptide known to man, if you look at their lifestyle and their habits and their eating patterns, it's no wonder why they deal with food noise. They sleep like 4 or 5 hours a night. They drink alcohol. They do drugs. They have poor nutrient timing. They have poor micronutrient density in terms of their foods. They don't exercise. They don't drink water or enough fluids. Like, all of these things are going to help you with satiety and hunger management, but sleep especially, just for balancing your hunger hormones, being ghrelin and leptin. Well, the main ones. I don't want to get too deep into that, but yeah, prioritize your sleep. Anyone who says sleep doesn't matter is literally ridiculous. Sleep is so important. So 7 to 9 hours a night. I'd like to see you guys, because I know a lot of you guys are younger. That's another roll call. I like doing these things, interact with the community. How old are you guys? Leave a comment. I want to know like what the kind of average of the age is, because again, if you're in your teens, I don't want you to be sleeping 7 hours a night. You should be prioritizing. I want to see you get 8 to 10 hours of sleep. And how do you do that? You go to sleep earlier, you take sacrifices, you make sacrifices. People that claim that, oh, I can't get enough sleep. No, you can. You just prioritize other things like doom scrolling on your phone or doing things that are not beneficial for you. So you think of sleep as boring, you don't want to waste time, but in return, that time that you spend doing other activities that do not benefit you in terms of your moderate to long-term health and performance, and in both physicality and cognition, it will bite you in the ass in the end. So you definitely want to create those habits. So again, if you are in your teenage years, I want you to be sleeping 8 to 10 hours a night. That is definitely going to be more beneficial than sleeping 6 to 7. All right, next question. I feel like it's literally taking me 10 minutes to do each question because I keep getting distracted. I have other things to do, but you know what? I low-key want to start getting on the treadmill as well. So I might have to do that after this question. You might see me on the treadmill, but that's crazy, bro. I'm not that old. Why don't you make something related to strength? 1 to 5 reps, 2 to 3 plus RIR, resting until all negative sensations dissipate, prioritizing whatever movements that you want to get stronger at first in your session when fatigue is the lowest. Do that every other day, because part of getting stronger is to build that neurological connection, to improve in those coordination, those skill gains as quick as possible. The best way to do that is in unfatigued or as little fatigue present states, because fatigue absolutely nukes neurological adaptations. So it's pretty much that simple. It's like, the main thing is, when it comes to hypertrophy, we want to be within 0 to 2 RIR. When it comes to rep ranges, we want to be within that 4 to 6 rep range. Obviously 4 to 8, 4 to 10, 4 to 12. You guys are not new to this, obviously. Assuming that there's 5 effective reps in every single set, obviously in an unfatigued state. When you are fatigued, there might be less. When you're more advanced, there might be less. That's why more advanced trainees, people that have great technique and are very, very strong, have been training for a long time, they might only have 4 effective stimulating reps at the end of the set. But even if you take someone who's an intermediate, who is fatigued, they might only have 4 stimulating reps. So again, the idea is to train as close to that number as possible so that you can mitigate fatigue both intra-session and post-workout. So that's kind of hypertrophy. You train close to failure. Training close to failure indicates that there's going to be both high degrees of motor unit recruitment, high amounts of mechanical tension. Those are the two key conditions. Mechanical tension is likely the sole driver of muscle hypertrophy, and mechanical tension is applied at a fiber level, and a fiber must be active in order for it to experience mechanical tension, which is the likely sole driver of muscle hypertrophy. So for a fiber to be active, we want motor unit recruitment to be high. Motor unit recruitment dictates how many fibers are being recruited. A motor unit comprises of a motor neuron and all of the muscle fibers that it innervates, yada, yada, yada. So that's hypertrophy in a nutshell. When it comes to strength, strength is an outcome, not an adaptation, and that outcome is made up of 3 kind of adaptations that can be trained for at a peripheral level. So like hypertrophy, tendon stiffness adaptations. What else? I know as far as the nervous system level, we have motor unit recruitment, we have reductions in antagonist coactivation, we have improvements in coordination, and then I guess the peripheral one would be an increase in motor unit recruitment. So there are 6 different adaptations that make up your outcome being strength. So a lot of those adaptations require fatigue to be not present. And the best way to do that is to train with lower reps, i.e. less than 5, and then leave lots of reps in the tank. So the biggest issue that people have when it comes to gaining strength and getting stronger is they train too close to failure. Again, another reason why you want to train far away from failure, like 2, 3, 4, or 5 reps from failure, is because then it allows you to do more sets per session, and more sets is more practice. We're talking about practice, okay? Allen Iverson, does anybody know ball? So pretty much like at a base level, that is it. Now, obviously I can get way more in depth. I can go over every single one of those adaptations and how to train for it, etc. But that's gonna be more for like a mentorship and coaching. So if you're interested in that, click the link in my bio, baby, let's go. I forgot, don't shoot the messenger. The peripheral adaptations are going to be hypertrophy, increases in tendon stiffness, as well as increases in lateral force transmission. And when it comes to the adaptations at the nervous system level, we have motor unit recruitment, we have coordination, and we have reductions in antagonist coactivation, which kind of goes hand in hand with coordination. So those two are kind of like whatever. But you can just think of it from like muscular size and kind of resiliency in a way, not really. And then you can think of it from a skill component. And that skill is practice. You need to perform the movement frequently. So ideally every other day or 3 times a week. And again, leaving reps in the tank to mitigate fatigue and training with lower rep ranges. So yeah, long rest periods as well. All right, baby, we are back on the treadmill. Let's go. All right, Obey Wow. Tapped into the 3-1-1 method yesterday. It felt great. Only lost 1 to 2 reps on some exercises too. I'm going to use it on my other training days too. Excellent. Now, what I will say is when it comes to tempo, it's not something that I recommend to focus on or keep in the long run. It's to be used to ensure technique and to teach kind of that skill of dissociating joint actions from one another. But when it comes to what's going on physiologically, there is not going to be an inherent benefit to pausing in the stretch position or the contracted position versus just controlling the changes of direction and just not having that excessive leap, right? So kicking into the concentric and then dropping and then catching. I'd rather you not focus on full-blown pauses, but focus on controlling that change of direction from explosive concentric, squeezing as hard as you can, right? Because moving explosively is going to increase motor unit recruitment. And then once you reach the top end of that movement, remember that now you need to slow the brakes down. You want to control that change of direction, going from full concentric, control the change of direction, control that for like two seconds at least. And then from the stretch, this is the worst part. From that full stretch to initiating the next concentric, make sure to control that change of direction. So pretty much the only thing that I'd like to see there is just a little bit more emphasis on controlling those end ranges. Now, I like to use pauses just for that, but I don't like to use them for the long run. So use them for like a session or two to try to teach yourself the skill and understand that, okay, this is what we're trying to do. But after that, I recommend removing the pauses and not using tempo. Just control the eccentric, 2 to 3 seconds, and then control your changes of direction and don't try to limit yourself on the concentric. That is the best piece of advice I can give when it comes to tempo and training technique, because if you're focusing on progressive overload, having that external focus of attention, you are not able to focus on cues as well. You're going to limit yourself significantly. So just take that into consideration. You don't need to pause, and there's nothing special about pauses. It's just a training tool. It's like training wheels that sometimes you need to remind yourself of what an exercise is supposed to feel like, and then you remove those training wheels, and then you get into your normal strength training, right? Because the less, I still will be a big proponent in this, the less you can think, the better. You don't want to be clouding your mind with anything other than just contract, anything other than just putting forth maximal effort. That is the only thing that you want in your mind. The more things that you have to think about, like, are my hips moving, or is my spine moving? Am I like holding myself down? All of those things add up and they compete with central motor command that takes up space in that kind of sensory part of your brain. And the more things that you're thinking of, the less output, the less central motor command that you can derive, and the quicker that you're going to reach your maximum tolerable perception of effort. So hopefully that makes sense. Yo, meter 350 Q4C, what a name. Sup, Big Keen? What's good, bro? What's good? How's it going? What dose of alpha GPC would you recommend? So assuming that you're using it for like increased force output, then 600 to 1200 milligrams. Assess tolerance, start with 600 around 60 minutes prior to training. See how you feel. Push it up to upwards of 1200. It can get expensive, so you have to kind of weigh out the cost to benefit and see if it's worth it for you. If you can get it on sale, I recommend it. It's something that I take every single training session. I'm not gonna bullshit you and say that it's like some special sauce. Realistically, caffeine is going to give you like 99% of all the performance gains. So pre-workouts are incredibly overrated. Really just drink coffee or have caffeine pills. I hate to be that guy. I mean, I wish I could tell you, be like, oh, there's like, you gotta take this, you gotta take this, you gotta take that. But I'm all about saving you guys money when I can. And even though that I'm with Ecovision and Dethroner is like the best pre-workout I've ever used, and they have other good pre-workouts too, the ingredients are mainly just like personal preference. And I mean, that can go a long way. And obviously placebo is very, very powerful too. But I'm not gonna bullshit you and say that there's like any other ingredient outside of caffeine. Like, I would say caffeine gives you like 95, 99% of all the performance benefits. And then alpha GPC could be that like 5 to, not even 5%, that'd be ridiculous. I'd say like 2 to 3 additional percent, especially if you push and you can tolerate it well and you get up close to 1200 milligrams, 60 minutes prior to training. Outside of that, it's just proper nutrient timing, carbohydrates prior to your workout, making sure that you have sufficient electrolytes in your system throughout the day, every single day. You're drinking enough fluids, you're sleeping adequately. That'll be fine. Den Sosa, what's up, Keenan? Love the vids. When I perform top half reverse easy bar curls, I get a lot of wrist pain afterwards. Anything I could do to help with that, or should I switch out the exercise? So, first thing I would do is if anything is causing significant pain, then swap it out, because there is no one particular exercise that you need to keep in your program in order to train a specific muscle group or muscle region. You just need to understand kind of biomechanics and how things work. So all we want is a pronated wrist and to train in that top half of elbow flexion. So you could just simply swap this out for a cuffed reverse curl. That's going to be excellent. That's going to help you with your wrist pain because you're not going to be limited by your wrist extensors. One thing that you could do is potentially isolate your wrist extensors and gain tissue tolerance by actually strength training them, because obviously your tendons can improve, but that's going to take time, so you have to be patient. Another thing that you could do is potentially increase the rep range. If you are using, for example, the 4 to 6 rep range on that, then that is asking a lot of your wrist extensors, especially if you're not accustomed to that loading. So what I recommend is increasing that up to even 8 to 10, or even 10 to 12 at the very, very high end. So I would first do that, probably raise the rep range to say go in increments. If you're doing 4 to 6, try 6 to 8. If that still gives you wrist pain, but you're willing to try it out again, then potentially go to 8 to 10 and then 10 to 12. And if even at 10 to 12, you still experience that wrist pain, then I would personally swap out the movement for, like I said, a top half cuffed reverse curl. It's been like 2 weeks since I've been watching you daily, and just now at 51 minutes that you mentioned to support you, I just noticed I was not subscribed yet. Are you kidding me? Are you guys not subscribed? I need you guys to support, please. It's going to help me so much, especially not only get my channel out there, but also motivate me to continue making these videos, because sometimes it's tough, man. Sometimes it's tough, especially with the training stuff. I got a full-time coaching business, so to be able to pump out these videos every single day, it's not easy. So I love all the support that I can get. I don't want to be that guy that like sits here and be like, comment, subscribe, but like, look at this guy. He's not even subbed. He's been watching for 2 weeks. I'm dropping sauce, daily sauce, helping you guys for absolutely free. So the least you could do is drop a comment, drop a like, drop a sub. Appreciate you, my guy. I got a question. Why don't you do your cable stuff in your home setup and then continue machine stuff, etc. at the gym? So the gym that I go to is West Coast Iron. It's in Port Coquitlam or Port Moody. I should know this. I think it's Port Moody. And my house, I live in Burnaby. So I take Highway 1. I don't know why I'm saying this like you guys know anything that I'm saying, but it's like 25, 30 minutes away. So realistically, it just would overcomplicate things. I personally would love to train at home because I could do TikTok live streams, I could record YouTube videos, etc. This cable stack is ancient. Me, my brother, and my dad, we split it 3 ways. We split everything here 3 ways during COVID because we couldn't go to the gym. And to be honest, it's now shit. Like the cables are super old. It needs to be lubed up. It just does not feel good. So in an ideal world, that would be awesome. Like if I was an upper lower cell, I could do upper here and I could do lower at the gym, but I'm never switching off full body because full body literally mogs every single split to oblivion. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not gonna do that because I'd train here for like an hour, knock out all of my cable stuff, and then get a drink, and then hop in the car, drive 30 minutes, do the rest of it. It overcomplicates things. It just doesn't make sense, but trust me, I've thought about it. Okay, next question. Would love to know more about exercises for sports carryover. I've started playing golf, so something targeted would be great. Well, that's gonna be more of like a apply for coaching type of question, because then you're going to need a specific program to balance out your needs for your specific sport, as well as anything else that you'd like to do. You're gonna have to understand proximal to distal sequencing in sport and understanding kind of the mechanisms and physiology behind that and how to program. So maybe I could do a video on that, but again, some things are better left for coaching because you're gonna need more kind of personalized guidance in regards to programming and things like that. But I did give you an exercise for that could be great for golfing in the last video near the end of my drive, so I would listen to that. Hypothetically, if someone struggles with insomnia, so he sleeps like 2 hours per night, does the daily calorie intake don't integrate with the day before? No, that's just neurotic, bro. That's like ridiculous. Like your calories are part of the day that you eat them. Like we don't have to do mental gymnastics to decide like when the calories, no. Like in my opinion, you should go see a doctor or somebody that specializes in sleep, try to get that figured out, whether that's through supplementation, whether that's through diet, whether that's through stress or something else, get blood work, figure that out. But don't try to do mental gymnastics in regards to like, if you sleep 2 hours, when is your calories, what day, it doesn't matter. It's like your calories that you eat on Wednesday or for Wednesday, the calories that you eat for Thursday or for Thursday. We're not doing this swapping bullshit. I feel like by you saying hypothetically, you're trying to say that you deal with insomnia or like sneak it in there. And if that's the case, like seriously, go look at, like go to the doctor, get some blood work done, see what's going on behind the scenes, assess your diet, assess your lifestyle, your habits, things like that. And hopefully it does get better. Ball knowledge question. Drugs, 2668. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. Hi, Mr. Keenan. I love you. I love you too, bro. Much love. Hope you had a fantastic day. I hope you had a fantastic day. Wow. Do you play any story games? At the moment, no, but I have in the past. I played so many. Now I personally don't. I only play old school RuneScape. I don't know what else, like Rocket League from time to time, but like, I don't know where to start. Like when I was a kid, I grew up on PlayStation. The only time I had an Xbox was in high school when I was getting FOMO and people were playing like Halo and Gears of War. So I had to buy an Xbox for that. And I would play like Halo 2, Halo 3, Gears of War 2, etc. But so many story mode games on like PlayStation. I used to play like all the COD campaigns. Like obviously, I don't know if you'd consider those. Obviously, those are story mode games. Like I used to love Spider-Man. Like the freedom of like swinging in the city and then having like all the upgrades and stuff like that. I love games like that. Like the Batman Arkham City, or is it Arkham Asylum? I don't know. Those games. If we're going even further back, like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter or Dexter, Little Big Planet. Like I've literally played everything. Like Sly Cooper. I used to play like Pokemon tons on like the Game Boy Advance. I think it's like, isn't it Game Boy SD? I don't know. I'm so old. I'm almost 30, bro. So I've literally played everything. Some games, I'm trying to think, like there's so many games that I've played. I used to love this one game on like, does anybody remember Miniclip or like adventure games? Like that's probably so old. I know I mentioned Adventure Quest when I was a kid, but there was like this mining game, Motherlode. I think it's called Motherlode. Not Motherlode Mine from RuneScape, but Motherlode. That game I really liked. Obviously like ARPG games like Path of Exile, Diablo, like 2. Rainbow, not Rainbow Six, but something Rainbow Siege 2, Rainbow something. Let me see, hold up. I forget what this game is called. Rainbow Six Vegas 2, I think. That game was peak on PlayStation. Obviously Guitar Hero, Rock Band. I'm not even naming story games anymore. I'm just naming like random games that I've played. I've literally played like everything, to be honest. I'm kind of tapped out now because I'm a little bit busy with like JOBs and stuff, but I'm telling you, that's a huge hobby of mine is gaming. Gaming, movies, TV shows, sports. I used to be like into basketball and hockey. Now I kind of just watch soccer. But again, just time commitments. So when a lot of people ask me like, oh, what do you do? Or like when people ask me like, oh, like I want to train 6 days a week, 7 days a week. I'm like, bro, like get a hobby, man. You know what I mean? Like do something, like play some games with your friends, like go play some sports on your rest days. Like go study for something, like go try to improve a skill to make more money, to unlock more doors so you could do more with your life. Like again, I'm not going to get into the whole, there's more to life than the gym because I know you guys are sick of me saying that because it's genuinely an issue with the youth. And it's not even the youth. It's like people that are like 18 to early 20s. And if you feel like I'm calling you out, that's a bad thing, right? Like you should have more about you than just the gym. Like what happens when you get into a conversation with a chick, God forbid you ever go outside and talk to a woman, like what are you going to talk about? Or like what are you going to do? And this, like you have to wonder, this is what happens to our youth. This is what happens to our middle-aged, I say middle-aged, it's not even middle-aged, it's still young, like early, like mid-teens to like mid-20s. Like you have no substance to, you have nothing that you could talk about. And it's obviously like, yeah, you're not going to talk about games and stuff, but still like diversify what you do. There's more to you than just your body fat percentage and your physique. I don't know how we went from gaming to this, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to like jump into that, but it's like a topic that I'm very, very passionate about because it drives me nuts. Like when I scroll on TikTok and I see like someone who like comments on my page, like some negative thing, and I click their page, and it's literally you just scroll and it's them like flexing in the mirror with like some downlighting, and that's like 200 posts. It's like, bro, what? Anyway. Sons of the Forest is dog shit. I remember playing that game. Oh, my dog's dreaming right now. He's chasing rabbits. He's literally like, he's crying. Sons of the Forest. terrible. I'm looking through my Steam games right now. No Man's Sky was ball. I remember when No Man's Sky first came out, it was like dog shit. And then apparently like after, I think they like refunded everyone because it didn't run really well on PlayStation. And then after they refunded everyone, all the updates, now it's like crazy. Apparently No Man's Sky is like insane. Like Factorio is a sick game. Obviously all the Grand Theft Autos I've played. What else? Lethal Company. These aren't story mode games, I know. Portal 1, Portal 2, Raft. I love Raft. Has anyone played Raft? Raft is a dope game. I mean, Rust, I have like 2,500 hours or something like on that. Valheim is super fun. Fall Guys. Elden Ring, obviously I played a lot of like Bloodborne games, Dark Souls games, etc. Destiny 1, Destiny 2. The Division is a sick game as well. Dark and Darker, I used to love. Counter-Strike, I've already talked on all the CODs. Age of Empires 2. Just so many games. When I was in school, like I would love to come home and turn on the PlayStation and play some story mode games. And now I have such a sick setup and I don't play it. So I want to somehow combine my community with gaming. Somehow. That would be amazing. That's like not a dream of mine, but like I would love to do that. So hopefully I can, I gotta charge my freaking thing here. Hopefully I can make that happen.
It's powerlifting.
Did you see this shit with like the Keenan flap and like they're using like they're wrapping their shit around their arm and they're just like, you know what I mean? That's just bullshit.
Do you like powerlifting still though? Like, would you like to train with Brian Shaw?
I mean, what are you gonna say, right? What are you gonna say? It's bullshit. I mean, hey man. W publicity though, you know what I'm saying? Beautiful argument. Can't hate on that, right? Bro, Widow's Bay is great. Hate starting a good show because I know it's gonna end, but that fog is something. It is. That's a phenomenal show. I'm honestly only on episode 2, so don't be leaking anything. It's gonna take me a while to watch it because I'm also watching House of the Dragon, Peak, and some other shows too, so W. All right, I got a question for the Q&A. Is it worth worrying about heme versus non-heme iron? Oh shit, sorry. If RDA is hit, I mean, it depends. Are you vegan? Are you vegetarian? Are you like struggling to get heme versus non-heme iron? It really just depends. If you are vegan, then obviously we're gonna have to take a closer look and just pay more of attention to it. Things like vitamin C around those non-heme iron meals or containing meals just to aid in absorption, but it really depends on the situation and the person, so I'd have to know more about you. So again, if you're curious about me putting together a diet plan for you or a nutrition plan, then click the link in my bio and apply for coaching. Keenan, for a dumbbell pullover when trying to bias more of the lower chest, should we bend our arms in the stretch or keep them more straight? Honestly, if you're trying to bias more lower chest and you don't want long head of the triceps, then I would have the pad or whatever the implement is above the elbow. So like a pullover machine would be better, but it doesn't really matter. And both the long head of the triceps and the costal pecs are ideally going to both max out in terms of motility and recruitment whenever you're performing shoulder extension and high degrees of shoulder flexion. So I would just do a dumbbell pullover and just bend the elbows because it feels a lot better. It's going to be easier to kind of stay consistent and standardized with that. But if you're really trying to maximize your lower chest, then yes, ideally keep a straight arm or a straighter arm and have less of that kind of dynamic joint action occurring of shoulder extension plus elbow extension. You want to keep that fixed the entire time. So I personally don't even think about this. I just bend my elbows so it's comfortable, and then I just train shoulder extension and high degrees of shoulder flexion, and then I tick both boxes. All right, that's it for me. I'm done. I'm gonna go rest up, eat a little bit of food, get back to work, but I will see you guys tomorrow. I might just post the car talks. I might stop posting my training, at least in its entirety. I know you guys enjoy that, but honestly, at the end of the day, I'm a coach, so people oftentimes just copy what I do versus actually want to understand the underlying physiology, and that requires, whether that's mentoring or coaching, individual coaching, You need something that is tailored to you, the individual, and that's just not something I'm able to give to everybody, and I would rather just not have people just blindly copy what I do. I'm getting a lot of questions in regards to like how many sets do I do, how much volume, all these things, and this is more of an individualized thing. So remember that if you need help with your nutrition to help reach your goals when it comes to your dieting, or whether it comes to your programming to reach whatever goal, whether that's strength, hypertrophy, you name it, then click the link in my bio for more of a catered approach to you. Any question in regards to your specific scenario, I'm not going to answer because it's just unfair to the people that pay me money. I'm down to help with more general questions, but it kind of gets a little challenging because there's like this blurred line between general to tailored advice, and I get paid for tailored advice. So I'm probably going to stop doing the training videos and the voiceovers just because of that, but we'll see. I'm not too sure. Who knows? Maybe I'll just surprise you guys tomorrow. But I will do the car talks and I will do the Q&As from time to time. I'm probably going to start chucking on some gameplay and doing a little bit of other things on the channel just to spice it up. I don't think I want to do Q&As every single other day for its eternity of the channel. I want to spice things up, and as well as the training too, because I do the same session every other day. I'm probably going to change that up too. So anyways, have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.